and knock on our door.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jermaine Dolly, and I'm telling everybody to come back to church. Just knock on the door. Check it out. I see you hurting, and you feel like nothing is working. So you're searching for some independence. Who's gonna come and take care of me? See, I know what you're going through right now. Whatever you have, something's pulling you right down. I got a simple message for you, or some things that I really think that you should do. So just slow to the beat. Slow as you come up your hill. All is well. You see that you have the victory. First things first. Cause for all this the word, see you might wanna walk in the church. So come and knock on the door.
Come and knock on our door.
We've been waiting for you. You are Jesus, standing. I often hear people say they grew up in church, and while they was there, some was doing the dirt, so they ended up hurt with no one to believe in. Cause everyone they trusted, and they was deceiving. So they turned to the world, just the baby, looking for something so they can ease the pain. And slowly but surely they found out for themselves, but the plan did not help. But if you just go to the from whence cometh your help, and all is well, and you will say that you got the victory. So all my people who think that their life off track, God is telling you to come on back. So come on, knock on our door. We've been waiting for you. When you find Jesus standing there, for you to cast all your cares. We'll be waiting for you. It's time to put things in motion. The positive change all over. This song is for everybody that grew up in church and they left the church. Guess what? You need to come on back. Come on. Jesus is waiting for you. This is also for the unbeliever. You definitely need Jesus. And where do you find him at? Right in the church. Come on.
So come and knock on our door. Come and knock on our door.
We've been waiting for you. You find Jesus standing there. So come and knock on our door. We've been waiting for you.
Don't worry, no.
Don't worry about nothing. Just pray on. Don't give up on God. He won't let you fall. Don't always think God. Your nights can seem dreary.
It's dreary, Now with this thing called life, you'll go through some ups and some downs. But in the end, you gotta stand, you gotta push, you gotta fight. You can win. God said that all things will work together for your good. But first you ask, and then you wait, pump your brakes, leave it in his hands. Have patience through the test, stay the course even when the trials come. He never said they wouldn't fall, but you know that he said they cannot stand. They can't stand because you were called and chosen to be the chain. Be the chain that someone needs to pick them up, give them strength, but you gotta be patient. You gotta be, yes, patient. Patient. The road gets hard. The nights get dreary. Yeah. Night get dreary. See, the enemy, he comes to steal, to kill, and destroy. But my father said he'd come to give you life and peace and so much joy. I know that the road seems hard. See, I've been there myself a time or two, but I promise it will pass. Just let patience do what it do. Be patient with yourself. All the pressures of life comes to make you strong. The one thing that pressure does is it creates a diamond that once was rough. All your trials are just a test to shape and mold you for your testimony. You gotta go and walk it out. Wave no white flags, don't give up, but you gotta be patient. Gotta be patient, yes. Be patient, be patient. Don't worry. Be happy, yes. Have patience now. You're not perfect. Eyes haven't seen, nor have ears.
Connecting the community through gospel.
The new 107.9 FM, W300EB,
Macon and WDDO 980 AM,
Perry.
Macon. Connecting the community through gospel.
The new 107.9 FM, W300EB,
Macon and WDDO 980 AM,
Perry.
Macon.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
All right, all right.
Ask Elaine. Ask Elaine. Where to ask Elaine. Ask Elaine. Where to ask Elaine. Ask Elaine. Where to ask Elaine.
Hi there. Yeah, you caught me writing. Hi, welcome, welcome, welcome. Isn't it nice today? It's a Wednesday, it's 3. So it's time for Ask Elaine. We're glad that you tuned in, but isn't it nice that the weather is only like around 90 degrees rather than the 100 that we've been having? You have to see, pull the good stuff out of what could be bad. And that heat is something else. But today, having a lower temperature, it's just, and yesterday was really, really nice. So we want to welcome you, Overseer Mabel Randall, Randy Crawford, and all those who've joined us on AM, FM. You're welcome to call in to today's show because we're going to have an opportunity for people to just share their ideas. Ricky Crawford is on with us too. Welcome. You can call in 478 250-1444. This is your weekly talk and information program. We are so happy to have you there, but we want to hear from you. So if you'd like to call in, if you'd like to share in the chat, we would appreciate that. Our co-host today is none other than Herbert Denard, who, my guest, I'm going to have to get a police escort or something for these folks because they always end up coming in here late, and then they know people want them on time so that they can get the full 60 minutes of their information, and then we end up running out of time at the very end, but that's okay. um, we want to greet all of you. Rhonda Bird is with us, the president of the Drive Time. Where is Drive Time? I tuned in this morning. Did I miss it? Was I too early? Was I too late? I know that there was a time David and I were at Mother's having breakfast. Y'all, they have delicious breakfast. They have salmon patties and stuff like that. This is really, really good food. So y'all ought to go by there. But anyway, I thought maybe must have missed drive time while we were having breakfast or whatever it is. But somebody respond in the chat and let me know whether I'm missing drive time, because I don't hear all of the wonderful information. I've been missing it. Maybe they're off this week. Mr. Engineer, what's going on with drive time? Tell us something. Oh, Rhonda Bird, the president says he wasn't on, hadn't been for 2 weeks. See, it's not me. It is not me. I knew I had been missing something. Oh, Roscoe Tours yeah, has been working. Yeah, people are, this is the time for trips and things. And these folks here are just magical. They have all kinds of businesses under this enterprise, not just historic WDDO, but they have Roscoe Tours. They have other activities. They feed those who need food. They do all kinds of things. That's why they are blessed, because they help so many people. And we're just thankful to be a part of it. You probably, those of you who are on the Glory Live, you saw Herbert Denard sneaking here behind me. We're glad to have him because he will tell you just like it is. We're gonna talk in depth and in detail about Biden, about Trump, and about what people ought to do. But we had to greet everybody. Y'all press like and share, and remind those folks. Who is that? La Lathrell LaCheryl Taylor. I'm sorry if I botched up your name, Miss Taylor, but welcome. Oh, been on this week. Has not been on this week. Okay, but we want to welcome everybody. Miss Taylor, Miss Bird, uh, Ricky Crawford. Oh yeah, Ricky says you're on CP time. Her
Color people time.
where you miss everything and all the door prizes and stuff at the beginning of the meeting.
I humbly apologize.
No problem. We know that you are busy and you're doing some good work. We know that you were at the law enforcement center. So um, anyway, yeah, he wants you to speak into that microphone there. We know that
Okay.
you've had a busy day. Plus, you're working with an advocacy organization, and we are well aware of all the things that you do. I was talking. I filled the space because we were introducing the folks who join us, always join us. We also want to express our deepest sympathy to the family of a legend in this community. Bo Ponder passed away this past week, and his services will be Saturday. And I'm sorry if anybody has all the details, if you would share it with us in the chat, or if you'll Google it real quickly and share it in the chat. But Bo Ponder was one that his name just flowed off everybody's tongue when you talk of legend and music. David always had him on his show. As a matter of fact, he performed at Soul Jam
Yes.
back in May, and he could sing some songs. he could sing. We want to welcome Pastor Lisa Watson. And if anybody wants to share any personal stories or anything about Bo Ponder, we will welcome that. Oh, Randy Crawford says that the services will be at St. Peter's Saturday at 11 o'clock. And Senator Lucas certainly will be there, and he expresses his condolences, as do all of the folks who knew Bo Ponder. You have any comments about that, Herbert?
I hadn't seen him in a long time,
Yeah,
but he was a good guy. He was involved in a lot of things, and he could
yeah,
sing.
yeah, yeah,
Um, Sometimes as I move about, I don't see people that I usually see. Sometimes they be sick during that time.
yeah,
Like I hadn't seen Charles Jones in a long, long time. Used to be
yeah.
on city council,
He was on city council. He
but
had moved to Atlanta. He had been in Atlanta with relatives for a while, and we want to express condolences to that family as well. Last week, we participated in a ceremony where we designated a portion of Plant Street where Greater Rising Star is located, the
Mhm.
church that he pastored for a long time. We dedicated a portion of that street in his honor, and that's where we place signs that say, this person did some stuff, some folks cared about it, and they came and requested that their government recognize that person. And so we have a number of religious leaders in the community who have been recognized in that same way. And that's one of the things that I love doing the most, Herbert, and that is recognizing our folks. Because in the past, we, first of all, were not recognized as whole people. We were
Mhm.
part of people, 3/5, wasn't it? And then once we got some folks in office who could pay special tribute to these folks in our community, we didn't always do that.
That's right.
But I deem it an honor to be in position to recognize these different people. And we've got quite a few of them recognized in Macon Bibb. And I hope that the new commissioners are taking note. And when there's a request that comes through, don't hesitate to recognize the bridges that brought us over.
Yeah,
So,
I passed by the water authority the other day.
uh-huh,
That's the Albert Billingsley building,
right.
and I went in the back because I hadn't been there in so long.
Yeah,
And they have a big thing there for Albert Billingsley. When you walk in
right.
the door, it's a real big
Right.
thing with his
And the
name on
sign is on the back of the
the
building.
back of the building.
His family wants it back on the front of the building. And if people see fit to elect me to District 1 of the Water Board, I do plan to bring that issue back up and ask that we act on that. And the family wants it on the front
Right.
of
But
the building as
Albert
well.
Billingsley was some guy.
Yes.
He knew how to make a business work.
He did. He was
He knew how to make his money. Right.
self-made man. Herbert, we have Coroner Jones, Leon Jones on the line. Leon, how are you today?
I'm doing fine, Commissioner.
Yes, isn't it better today, that weather out there with the temperature being lower?
Yeah, it is. It's raining out here south a little bit. I
Oh,
want to call and give you the arrangements on Bo Ponder. It's
okay.
going to be Saturday, 11 o'clock in St. Peter on Fort Hill Street, the Reverend Willie Finney Church.
Yep.
Have you heard
Really?
who was going to do the eulogy?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
All right. So this is the church where we had our EL High School graduation ceremony on Saturday, and
Right.
we just want to express our condolences to that family and to the family of the late Charles Jones. You, Coroner, you were quoted in the newspaper expressing some sentiments as far as Charles Jones is concerned. Do you want to share those with our audience today?
Yeah, I said the same thing at his funeral. I was one of the speakers at Reverend Jones' funeral. I mentioned a homicide that I had one morning over by Central High School. And when I went to notify the young man's mother that he was killed, she came to the door with a flashlight. The power had been cut off. Yeah, I called Charles Jones, and the power was back on at 9 o'clock. You know, Charles Jones had that Ed D4 syndrome.
Yeah.
Call him anytime. It don't matter what district you live in. If he
Right. Right. That's the way true public servants react to things.
Exactly.
I'm like that as well.
And me too. And I look at people that call me. I've been in contact with Lake Wildwood for 2 days. They're concerned about a lady's car that hadn't moved in 2 days in Lake Wildwood. I just got off the phone, and they said the sheriff's department was told not to break the door down, but the car has not been moved in 2 days. They're concerned about the lady's her husband died suddenly, and she's suicidal. And well, from my standpoint, I told her, I said, "There's nothing I can do." She said, "You're the coroner, sure, there's something you can do."
Yeah.
But you know, when you're a public servant, it's all or nothing.
That's right. That's right. That's
It's
right. You don't talk about what district it is, whose district. You might mention that it's in someone's district, but you still say, I will do what I can.
I have people call me because they can't get a trash can.
Yeah, I know. I have people call me about the school system and about a whole lot of other things. And you
people
want
call me all the time. People call me all the time about those cameras. Yeah, I tell them it's simple. Slow down.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all you gotta do is slow down. And some of the people that call me are retired law enforcement, and their question is, who's calibrating the radar?
Yeah.
I was a sheriff for 25 years, and our radar had to be calibrated. Yeah, I tell them, just tell your wife to slow down.
Yeah, and the radar is still.
My problem, Commissioner, this is my problem. When you try to pay the ticket, it is so much drama. You're trying to do what's right.
Yeah.
Okay? And it's still too much drama. I'll be honest with you. I ain't got time for the drama. Just lock me up. I get bonded out. All state bonding company, 745-1966.
Oh, you got the number. You got the number down pat.
Kyle Steele.
Yeah.
He gave me $100 to buy some book bags for my annual back to school giveaway that I have every year.
Yeah.
All state bonding company, 745-1966. I ain't got time for no drama. Just lock me up so I get bonded out.
Well, there are a lot of people who feel like, first of all, that the fine is too high, that the tickets are too high. I personally feel that way. And then on the other side, people say, well, you got to make it hurt in order for people to get the message. But our poverty rate in this community is so high until any amount hurts. Any amount that you are fined hurts. And I have a concern going forward about the calibration, about, the technology that's out there, how they're checking it. Because if somebody goes to court or they challenge this stuff, is this company able to validate the fact that this was done and it was appropriate, it was fair, and it was legal? And so I think in the future, there's got to be some review of those kinds of things. They used to have the cameras on the school buses. They had to remove those because there were so many challenges, and the challengers won the fight. And so it was found that those cameras were not accurate. And so they took that stuff out. And so there are a lot of people who are expressing concerns about it, but you want children to be safe. So
absolutely. There's no doubt. You want the child to be safe, but when there's no school in Bibb County, it's open at 6 o'clock at night or 7 o'clock at night.
Right.
Then that's not happening. And people say, well, you behind technology. Okay, I get it. I am. I have trouble emailing, but you want technology, make it work.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
school lights ain't got no business being on at 7 o'clock at night.
Right. And they're not supposed to be there. Those tickets, it's supposed to be an hour before and an hour after the hours of school. But it's kind of difficult in setting those parameters because there's so many activities that go on at school buildings way before and way after the actual school hours, posted school hours. So there's got to be some consistent review of these different things. The monies that are coming from the tickets, that money is going uh, to pedestrian safety, is what I understand, making the streets safer. So every citizen has the right to question any of these things that are put in place. So y'all please continue to do that. It's your city hall, and you have the right to call and ask questions. We've been joined today by my son, Lenny. Lenny, you have an announcement to make? He's got a change of
Okay.
career. You don't want to announce it? All right. Well,
Okay.
we'll leave
Y'all
it
have a good
alone.
night.
Let's leave it alone. Thank you so much, Karna, and
Okay, Herbert.
you be
Herbert,
blessed.
I'll try to get back with you, Herbert, as soon as I can.
Okay, appreciate it. Let me
All
say
right.
let me say one thing, Elaine.
Okay,
I've been going to the courthouse.
you'll use that
I've been
mic.
going to the courthouse lately, and what I have found is nothing but black folks in the courthouse.
Yeah,
When I say court, I mean if you go to the state court, superior court, uh, uh, any of the courts, all the people that are paying the tickets, all of the people that's going to jail are black folks.
right.
Now, if you go over to the jail, which I go to every week, probably 90%, and I'm not exaggerating, 90% of the people in jail are black.
Yeah, you're right.
We don't make up 90% of this community.
Well, now, Herbert, the plan is for us to continue murdering each other. So that gets rid of a bunch of us. Then the second part of the plan is to stop us from having basic liberties, like what the Supreme Court just said, that Donald Trump can do whatever he wants to do. And we've got some idiots out there who look like you and me and Lenny who are talking about voting for that scoundrel. I have some other words for him. And the third thing is, for any crime that you commit, you commit, you're not going to be like Donald Trump and get away with it. You are going to jail.
You know, we
So those are the three parts of this whole plan to push us back into slavery. Put us in jail.
but
We kill each other. And then what was the other part? Take away your rights. And then
well,
we don't use them anyway. We won't go vote.
you can go to any of the courtrooms, from the municipal court to the probate court.
Right?
Every last one of them, when they are charging somebody for something, the people that are being victimized. Now I don't know if we just do things or there's something going on, but all the people you go when next time any of you are in the courtroom, any court, look around and see who the people, what color the people are that's there.
Yeah. You remember the late Charles Dudley, who served
Yeah.
a long time on Macon City Council? Charles Dudley did a study, or had someone to do a study some years ago. That study found that although Macon is majority, Macon, Bibb County were both, Macon was majority black. He found that the majority of the folks who were being ticketed or charged or whatever were also black. But the numbers were way out of line as far as the population, even though we were in the majority. The numbers were way out of line. And his whole hypothesis was that the black community was being targeted. and we all know that. We all know that. And I have had some whites to tell me, I was speeding, I was drunk, but they let me go. They stopped me because I was bobbing and weaving and endangering everybody's life, the lives of the folks out there. But they let me go.
But
And a few years ago, a prominent white son of a white elected official was escorted home. He was drunk and disorderly, and they put him out of the place where he was. He was escorted home. He was supposed to go to jail. He ended up being escorted home. It never reached the media or anything. Your son, my sons would have been in jail. And so there is a difference. And even Black officers arrest more of our own people than they do whites, because there is a perception that white life is more precious and more valuable than Black life. And until we get past that kind of stuff, we're going to be forever headed back to slavery. And I'm telling you, that's where it's headed.
But now I'm very critical of what's going on there. And the judges, most of the judges, we're the majority.
And the charges are greater too.
Right. But most of the judges in this community are white. But so there's a lot of inequities, and we have a chance to vote for them. And all these Black lawyers are making, none of them ran for some of these judges.
None of them ran for the judgeships.
Right. And solicitors.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that we need to start putting things in place for our community to actually teach our kids, not all the way homeschool, but we need to start teaching our kids where we come from, how to talk to police officers, everything. We already do it in most Black households. But there needs to be more of a concerted effort to kind of.
Well, you have to have the talk, don't you?
Yeah.
Have to have that talk with your children. Black parents shouldn't have to have a talk with their parents. They shouldn't have to tell their kids, when you go in a store, keep your hands out where folks can see you. They shouldn't have to be afraid that their child you're going to get a call,
right,
that your child is being accused of this or that, or your child might, our kids are very active. Their volume is louder. They have more fun. But that should not be a license for anybody to discriminate.
I totally agree. But there's one thing that I have to say. I go to the jail every week, every Wednesday.
Yes.
And most of the people,
Mr. Engineer, yes, come on.
Most of the people that are there are Black. And then I had a list. I got it from the coroner. Most of the people that are killed are Black people. And they are not killed by the police. They are not killed by white people.
That's right.
They're killed by Black people.
That's right.
One year we had 80 persons killed. And out of the 80, I think it was 65. If the coroner's still there, he could correct me. I think it was 65 was Black, killing Black. The white folks didn't kill Black folks. The police didn't kill Black folks.
Right. We're killing each other.
We are killing each other, and it wasn't always that way.
That's right.
And so somehow we have to reach the masses, reach the gang leaders, reach the people that will shoot you at the drop of a hat.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow our lives in Macon, Georgia, and probably all over the country. Now, I blame white folks now for a lot of things, but we killing each other, we have to deal with that. We are being discriminated by in a lot of ways.
Right.
But when you really break it down, when black folks are killing black folks because somebody stole a parking space from them downtown Macon. This is a fact. We have black folks killing black folks for a lot of things. Now, I don't like to talk about this in the other media, but we are a family here. Let's talk about it. What can be done to stop this from going on? Where's the anger in young people's minds that say that they gonna kill another black person?
You almost have gotten to a point where it's just just another somebody. It's gotten to where we are desensitized, and there are some people who will say, as long as black folks are over there killing each other, we just don't want them to bring it to our side of town. We don't care about the violence or what's going on. I actually know of some people who have said this, that they don't care how many of us we kill, as long as you don't bring it to my neighborhood.
I know they feel that way, but mine is this, and I say this all the time, and this really get everybody upset most of the time. If a black person, if you go home and catch a man in your house, I'm talking to the men, catch a man in your house with your wife or woman, how do you respond to it? Most people, I say this in the jail all the time. One of the men say, somebody gotta die. I don't know if I killed a man, a woman, a man, but I gotta shoot somebody. I got to shoot somebody. And the same thing happened in reverse. We need to walk away from those kind of things. You can't kill anybody. I know they say it's your thing, you do what you want to do with it, but it's not your thing, it's her thing. You could divorce her or you could leave her. You don't supposed to kill her. But the mentality that we have right now, if you catch somebody in my house, they dead.
At least getting beat up.
Well,
no, but they say, suppose you can't beat the person.
But
suppose it's a Mike Tyson in there.
I'm gonna try. I ain't never been scared.
But the thing is, that black person is going to go into the prison system.
Right.
You have destroyed two families. You've destroyed the person that you killed, and then the other, you are going to go to jail, and you're going to be there for as long as they can keep you there, because jail is an industry.
Right.
Jail is an industry. In a lot of communities, they love having a jail, because it provides jobs, and they don't care that it's black bodies that are keeping it going.
Let me say this to Lenny. What you say is what a lot of inmates say in jail. I gotta beat somebody. I gotta try to do something to somebody. If you catch a situation like that, but when you do that, you send somebody to jail. You send somebody to jail, and somebody's going to the cemetery.
Yeah.
And Jerry Butler, most of you never heard of him, but Jerry Butler should say, find yourself another girl who will love you too. You know, there's somebody else out there. I know it hurts you. I know it's embarrassing. I know all of these things. But if you run into a situation like that, let her go and find you somebody else. That's hard. It'll hurt. It'll make you mad. But we got to learn to walk away from violence. But this happens more in our community for whatever reason than in the white community.
Yeah.
We believe that we supposed to shoot somebody.
Well, we have been trained that our lives don't matter as much as other folks' lives. You don't just wake up one day and feel that way. It is ingrained. And this society says white folks matter. White folks' lives matter more than black folks' lives. And we have adopted that. And we have got to move away from that, because we are a part of this whole march back to slavery. because I'm saying that the prison system is a part of that move to enslave us.
Yeah,
And-
I think a lot of people are waking up to the fact that we've been disenfranchised
I hope
as a
so,
race.
because I hear a lot of young folks like you who are talking about, and Herbert, you weigh in on this too, talking about voting for Trump. Trump years
I
ago
wouldn't go
took
that far.
out a full page
Yeah,
ad in the
he
New
did.
York Times,
Mhm.
was it?
New York
Yeah.
Where
Times.
there were 5 black men who were accused of raping and killing a white girl in the park.
Right.
They were put on trial and everything, and Trump took out full page ads saying these folks ought to be put to death.
That's right.
He
And
did.
and for somebody to then in 2024, well, this is 2024, yeah, for them to say that they would vote for something like that, somebody like that, who lied all the way through 90 minutes.
And by the
some
way,
people
those
tell
guys,
one lie,
those
but
guys were
90
innocent.
minutes, they were
Those
innocent.
guys were innocent.
That's
They proved
right.
it
This
through,
is the point. That's
they
the point.
proved it through
And
DNA.
one was recently elected to serve as a member of the council,
New
New
York.
York City
Right.
Council.
They
Right.
through they use DA test, not DA test. What do you call it?
DNA.
DNA test.
Dana.
Right.
Listen, all you have to
Medea.
do,
That's
person-
Medea.
all you
DA.
really, all
But-
you
but-
really have to do is look at the facts, and Trump just gets up in front of people and lies. He
But,
just lies,
but tell
lies,
me
lies.
how. Tell me what you say to
I would
young
not.
people. What do you say to young people who say, "Well, Trump gave us a check"? We
He
have
didn't.
we have just
He
gone
didn't.
almost fainted trying to explain that the Democrats approved
Right.
the stimulus
Exactly.
package. Trump held up the distribution
Which
until
was
he
illegal.
could sign
Which was illegal.
his name on it so that it would come out with his signature on it. It was the Democrats,
And that was illegal
and
for him
and
to
so
sign.
people, because they got a stimulus check, a one-time
And it didn't come
little
from Trump.
check, and
No.
it didn't come from Trump.
No, it
The,
didn't.
the best thing.
And it was your money too, anyway, from the very beginning. So they
Right.
didn't give you anything. They were giving
you know,
back to you
I-
some of what you had sent in to government. So how do you get people to realize that they're writing their own ticket back to slavery?
Do you understand that a lot of young people do not read the paper or watch the news? Years ago, when the news was on Channel 13 in Makenham's and was all over, that's what people watched. But right now, you have all these other ways you can get news on Facebook and everywhere else,
Yeah.
and it's not all.
And
It's not all.
TikTok.
It's not all true.
It's
Right.
not
Yeah.
all true.
Yeah.
So I used to watch the news when it come on at 6 o'clock on MAZ, and then watch the news 6:30 news that came on right after. Now people don't watch the news; they don't read the newspaper. So
The
somebody
real news.
Right. They don't watch-
verifiable
right,
news.
they don't watch any of that. A lot of young people and do not watch. A lot of old folks too, but old folks tend to watch it more.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't. So somebody could come around and say, I remember when the stimulus package was passed. I remember when they had the thing for the infrastructure, all of that. But a lot of people didn't read any of that. And so if a check came, some congressmen, Republican congressmen, voted against it. But when they started
But
getting the money,
that's
they showed
right.
up saying,
That's
I voted
right.
for it.
Right.
That's
So
right.
so somehow,
You can always look at records too.
Yeah.
Right.
Voting records.
But people aren't
most,
looking.
But
Right.
most of them don't care. And
Right.
Trump shows up looking mean and talking stuff. And some people like that kind of attitude. That's the
Well,
only thing I
we're
can come up with.
here on Ask Elaine to provide true information. And so from now all the way through till the election, November, 5th is the general. But before then, 3 weeks before then, late October, October is when early voting starts. So we're going to be talking about true facts. And so if you want to get smarter, continue to be smarter, then tune in to Ask Elaine each week. Patrick shared this information. Black Americans are murdered at nearly 8 times the rate of white Americans. Young Black men in inner cities are disproportionately affected. They are both the primary victims and perpetrators of gun assaults and homicides. This grave reality does not mean, and I've lost my page here, um, does not mean Black people are inherently violent. Instead, it largely reflects their disproportionate experience of systemic barriers such as poverty and limited access to quality education, good jobs, and affordable housing. All factors that research shows contribute to neighborhood violence. And he's correct. Making matters worse are the high rates of illegal gun possession among young men in urban areas. This behavior is often driven by reasons beyond criminal intent and include distrust of the legal system and the perceived need for self-protection. So, Patrick, that's some good information. And we want to welcome all of you one more time. We want to welcome you to Ask Elaine. This is your weekly talk and information program. This is your voice, Commissioner Elaine Lucas, and we're fired up on here today. I tell you, our very special guests are none other than the griot, Herbert Denard, and my son, Leonard Lucas, who has a little bit of an announcement. He wants to tell people about a career. You don't want to do it? Okay. All right. All right.
But let me say this here. I agree with everything. I think it was Patrick you said that's looked up the information. But the fact is, we are killing each other.
Yeah.
We are killing each other. And we are family, like now it's a family affair between us, Black folk.
Yeah.
We are killing each other.
Yeah.
And we got to come up with some kind of way to change it, to stop it, to slow it down or something. We are killing each other over foolishness, small stuff. Yeah. Not somebody broke in your house and you're defending yourself. You're supposed to defend yourself and your family like that. But we are killing each other over small things. And I heard someone say when Black folks live closer together, they have more contact with each other and they have a greater tendency to kill each other. But we are killing each other over little bitty things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when I talk to the inmates in the jail, there's one thing I found out. The men and the women, most of them don't like their fathers. They don't like their fathers. I don't know if their father
wasn't
there, and the father didn't treat him right. I don't know if the mama talks about the daddy, he ain't worth a nickel, or whatever reasons. But most of the inmates in the jail that I talk to do not like their fathers.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, I would say some of them just straight out hate him.
Many fathers were driven out of the household because services were only provided in a family where you did not have a man.
Which is another setup.
And that is another setup. It's another thing that keeps these hardworking women working hard, leaving early, coming back late, children not being taken care of like the moms would want to. But some of these services are not provided if there is a man in the household.
Why can't men marry women like they used to?
Yeah, I remember your last time you were on.
Why can't Black men marry the woman they are making babies with?
Well, that's a question. That's a question.
Well, it goes back to that cycle that we was just talking about, and they pin white against Black, they pin old versus young, they pin woman versus man. So everything is a competition over on our side, while they're sticking together to elevate one person or a couple of people or a
Yeah.
group of people. We
Uh,
fight. We steady over on our side, fighting with each
We're
other
fighting
and
each other because
killing
that's
each
who's
other.
there to fight.
You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So instead of working together, because anything that we build up, they try to destroy. The powers that be try to destroy.
Put the point I want to make.
So we can't pull up our bootstraps when they
You
ask,
gotta
when they
have some
tell us to, when they
bootstraps.
ask us to,
Yeah,
Yeah.
when they don't give us anything and they tell you to pull
right.
yourself up by
But
And
what
we
I'm saying-
want to welcome Amity Rouse Robinson to Ask Elaine and all the others who have joined us. Thank you so much for tuning in to your weekly talk and information station.
in
Get smarter.
in the 1950s, blacks and whites was married at the same rate. That went on a long time. In some earlier parts, blacks was marrying more than white people. But right now, blacks are not marrying at the same rate white
Mhm,
people.
mhm.
But we are divorcing about the same rate.
Yeah.
But I'm
Yeah.
saying I'm talking about family talk.
Well, we do need more committed relationships because two together working on something gets better results than just one out here who's barely surviving, trying to deal with everything. And so that is one of the situations that we need to deal with. I'm trying to make sure that I've recognized and Patrick has some really good. So let me welcome once again those who are on AM, FM, those who have joined us on the Glory Live. And Patrick talks about the removal of fathers and how it disrupts families and weakens social networks within communities. And it does. I don't care what the community is, but it has been done so much more in the Black community. Plus, society seems to be afraid of Black men. So there's always some kind of punishment, an attempt to punish very harshly Black men. And it's a holdover from slavery where you had the lashing and the chaining and all of the killing,
Right, but
hanging, all of that.
But you are right about all of that. But what happened? That happened in slavery. But when the 50s and 40s came around,
They were still hanging folks.
I know they were still, but black folks and black folks was marrying
right
at a rate
right.
as high and sometimes higher than
You're
white folks, and
right.
they would
You're
stand
right.
together. We was closer knit
Right.
in the 40s and the 50s. The 60s it started changing. Some people say that when Johnson made the Great Society and they gave more money to women when a man wasn't in the house, that ran them out of the house. I'm not sure, but I know this: we as a people are not marrying at the rate we should be,
Right.
and we are divorcing at the same rate everybody
But
else
you
is
know
doing.
something else that's interesting. There was a study a few years ago that showed that if a man is in a married man tends to be healthier and live longer
Absolutely.
than one
I
who
agree.
is not,
I agree with
because folks take care of each other. If they're in a committed relationship,
that.
they
Supposed
look
to.
out for each other. They y'all are stubborn men. Y'all know y'all won't keep your doctor's appointments and all that sort of stuff. So we ladies work to try and help to keep y'all going to the doctor. We watch you and all of this stuff, even though you might not want to be. But we, in a committed
Absolutely.
relationship, there is that looking out for each other. So the study showed that men who are married tended to be healthier
They
and
live
live
longer.
longer than men who were not. And Patrick says U.S. marriage rates have been on the decline since the latter half of the 20th century, and both men and women are marrying at a later age. But the decline and delay are even more dramatic among Black adults. The median age at first marriage has risen for both men and women. In 1970, the median age, Herbert, like you were saying, at first marriage was 23.2 years for men and 20.8 years for women. 50 years later, those figures climbed to 30.5 years and 28.1 years, respectively. So your point is well taken that people are waiting later to get married. There are a lot of factors involved in that, but there are fewer people who are choosing to be in committed relationships. And it doesn't matter to me what the relationship looks like as long as it's a committed relationship, because I would rather see if there's an abusive relationship, husband and wife, I just as soon see a same-sex relationship that's a committed relationship where folks aren't beating up on each other than I would to see the traditional that we want to see, a man and a woman, that. But
I
to
like the man and
me,
woman situation.
well, I like my situation,
Okay.
but for
But-
some other folks,
but-
whatever their relationship is, whatever their situation is fine with me. I don't have a problem with it as long as the commitment is there. So that other one is a topic for another
and
day.
the second thing I say, men, you might be the strongest and everything else, but you shouldn't hit your woman. You shouldn't hit your wife.
You should
shouldn't hit
never
your
do
girl.
that.
You should never do that.
And women should not be hitting on men either, because everybody wasn't raised the same way. There are some situations where I've seen some women popping men upside the
When
head.
that happens,
too.
it's time
It
for somebody
shouldn't
to leave
happen
the house.
either way.
True.
Either way.
But what we have is we have a lot of abusive women that's getting
Yeah.
beat and banged. And
Yeah.
some men believe that the way they control a woman
Right.
is by going upside her head.
That comes from slavery too.
They
That
believe
comes from you control what you can by
But-
beating, and that's from slavery
but-
too.
but-
It boils down to men fight with their hands, women fight with their words.
not only
Well-
that, I was talking to a young lady in
But-
jail today. The man kept beating on her, and the reason we was asking why she's in jail, and she shot him and killed him.
Mm.
That happens too.
Well,
People got to control your
right.
emotions.
The abuse goes
Sure.
and guys, don't get all been out of shape. What we're saying is abuse can go both ways, and abuse is abuse. It's wrong either way, whichever way it goes. Pastor Lisa says no violence. Married or not, together or not, blacks need to raise kids.
Yeah.
That is part of the lack of educational achievement. If we had more intact families, then the achievement of children would be higher. It would be greater. And we would be prouder, and we would know more of our history.
Right.
The families are not intact as they should be.
Right.
Right.
But nobody wants to be in a controlling abusive relationship.
That's right.
you
That's
know?
right.
So you shouldn't get beat on if you want to leave.
Yeah.
That should never happen.
Yeah.
Some people do not want somebody to break up with them. Some
Yeah.
people believe they can't stand the pain of somebody leaving them. It hurts their ego, it hurts their brain, it hurts their mind.
It's
Yeah.
called separation anxiety.
Yeah.
And they will fight and they will do everything. If you say, I'm gonna leave, no hell you ain't.
Mhm.
You ain't leaving away from here. So all of it, we got to learn to control emotions, number one, and we need to learn love.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing in the world. It might be some.
Or just love more.
I can't. I
Because
don't.
as a people, we are more the most loving people
Emotional. Yeah. Yeah.
and forgiving people.
When I was married, which was about 15 years ago, my wife died. We got into an argument one day, and she said, I'm not gonna put up with this stuff you're doing around this house." She was accusing me of womanizing.
I wonder why. I wonder
No,
why.
she accused me of womanizing, and she said, "You're gonna have to get up and out of here." And I was bad then, I said, I think I will leave. I'm gonna leave. My children bust out and start crying, "Please don't leave, please don't leave, please don't leave." And I went in there and I thought about it. I went in there and apologized for some of the things that I was accused of. I apologized, she apologized, and we didn't break up.
Were you wrong?
Whether I was, let me put it this way:
plead the
whether
fifth.
look at
Take
whether
the
you
fifth,
whether
Herbert.
you wrong.
Plead the fifth.
Look here, whether you wrong or right. There's nothing wrong with apologizing.
Right.
There's nothing
You
wrong
get,
with
you
saying
get
you're
to
sorry.
stay home.
I could have got in one corner and said, I'm going.
Yeah.
If you're wrong, and I was wrong, if you apologize,
Right.
tell them you're sorry and tell them you mean it and tell
Right.
them it won't happen again.
Right.
That's what you do. You try to work it out.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not for you, it's for your children.
And you get to make up. That's
And you
the
make
nice,
up
that's the
and
nice
making up
part.
and
People
making up
give gifts and all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff.
and making up pretty nice.
Pastor Lisa
but-
says that Mayor C. Jack Ellis gave one of the best pieces of advice. Black fathers, go get your children, especially sons, and raise them. Because Mayor Ellis did that. And
Right.
and so we
I
appreciate that
We
advice.
we also have to factor in that we live in a cancel culture and people are ready to bounce in an instant for virtually anything.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
But if you have
So-
yourself a good woman and you know you have your good woman, apologize. Please, I'm sorry. It won't happen again. And make an effort not for it to happen again.
sometimes that don't work. Though.
Sometimes you have to try.
Yeah.
You have to try and say, look, I'm sorry.
Okay.
And you say you're sorry, mean it, and try to work it out. And now, and you know,
Okay. This whole program today has been about slavery. Whether we're going to head back to slavery or not, we are headed back. I went to a Board of Elections meeting the other day, and the Republican Party, the chair of the local Republican Party was there. He had 3 lists of people that he wanted removed from the voting rolls. You know, anybody can step up to a Board of Elections and say, I have these folks and I want to challenge them. And the Georgia State Legislature, made up mainly of white Republican men, said that that's okay for them to do that. And you as a voter have got to be willing, have to be in position. You have to be notified. Now, the Board of Elections will notify you if your registration is being challenged, but you have to go and prove that you need to remain on the rolls. So what we want to do is to raise this red flag of everybody that you have to protect your right to vote, because the Republican Party is actively engaged in developing lists of people that they want to step up and challenge. And the reason is because you're black or brown, because you're not Republican, because they want to diminish the numbers of registered voters to try and ensure that crook Donald Trump is elected this time around. All of this, Georgia is a test case. They're trying it all out here in Georgia. Everything that they can put in your way, I would not let them get away with this. Check your voter status every week, just like I do. Make them MVP, my voter page. Check it through the Secretary of State's office. Call the Board of Elections. Ask them to check and make sure that your status is unchanged, that it's active. And then on election day, early voting, you go vote. You go vote, or call one of us and we will assist you. Call the NAACP, call Black Voters Matter, call someone that you trust and have them to help walk you through to ensure that your right to vote is not taken away from you. Our right to vote was given to us by God, and nobody has the right to take it from us. And so it's left up to you. I'm going to protect my right to vote. And I think these gentlemen are as well.
Yeah.
But we only had about 15% of the registered voters to go vote in the last election, which is pitiful. And those who did not vote should be ashamed.
We need
should be
at
ashamed.
least 50%.
At
least 50%.
Generally, in the presidential race, there's
15%?
more than we got 110,000 registered voters.
Come on, man.
And we only had like 15% to go vote. That's pitiful. That's not ensuring your right to vote is protected. It is not.
And you're not thinking about your ancestors that
right.
bled and died.
That's right.
Got dogs, sick dogs.
There were
got
some
water
that were
holes, sick
hung right here in Macon, Georgia. Right. There's a plaque designating that person's name that's placed down at the Douglas Theater that shows the name of a person, one of the people who was hung, lynched in this area, and the body was thrown onto the front of the Douglas Theater, the business of Macon's first black millionaire, the Douglas Theater. So if you don't do it for somebody, do it for if you don't do it for yourself, do it for your children, do it for somebody. Herbert, you have some last minute remark that you want to make. We've got 2 minutes, and then we're gonna call on you for a closing remark.
We encourage people to vote. We encourage people to stop using the N word when they talking to each other.
Right.
No other race or nationality call each other the worst names that they call them, like they call Polish people Polak. Polish people don't call each other Polak.
No, they don't.
They call Italian people wops. Italian people don't call each other wops. We the only group like that takes the worst name that white folks put on us, and we call each other that.
Disrespect each other. Hey, Desmond Brown, thank you. Desmond has agreed to work with me on my campaign for the water board.
I'm gonna work with you too.
Herbert Denard has endorsed me.
100%.
Your closing remarks. Yeah, we gotta.
I feel a little bit different about the N word because I feel like, listen to me, because I feel like we are the most innovative people, and everything that we do, they steal, try to put their names on it. Airplane, automobile.
They don't call each other the N word though. They don't.
It's a term of endearment.
That's not a term. That's
BS. In private settings.
Look, we're gonna see you again next.
N-word is not a good term any way you put it.
No, it's not.
We're going to have to agree to disagree.
We're going to see you again next Wednesday at 3 p.m. with Sheriff David Davis. We're going to see what he has to say about the N-word.
Going to say nothing.
The N-word. Until
a negative term is a negative term is a negative term.
Have a good 4th of July, and we'll see you again next Wednesday for another edition of Ask Elaine.